where Attorney General Ken Paxton is taking legal action against 5 cities for their progressive steps to decriminalize low-level cannabis possession in 2022. Paxton, a hard-right Republican AG, announced on Wednesday that he's suing Austin, San Marcos, Killeen, Elgin, and Denton. In a news release, Paxton stated, "I will not stand idly by as cities run by pro-crime extremists deliberately violate Texas law and promote the use of illicit drugs that harm our communities." He accused these cities of attempting to create anarchy by selectively enforcing law. Now, during the 2022 elections, we reported about these 5 Texas cities that passed ordinances to limit prosecution of minor cannabis crimes at the city level. Austin, for example, restricted city police from issuing citations or making arrests for minor cannabis offenses, except in certain circumstances. Paxton argues that these ordinances are preempted by state law and seeking court orders for the cities to repeal them and fully enforce the outdated drug laws of Texas. Now, additionally, Paxton aims to eliminate city-level police policies that have curbed prosecutions and arrests for cannabis crimes. For instance, did I just read this? God, you guys, I did. This is 2 weeks in a row I did this, and I apologize. Same thing. Moving on. We're going to cut that out, right? Okay. Interestingly, Paxton's lawsuits come at a time when Texans, including a substantial number of Republicans, are increasingly open to cannabis consumption. According to recent polling from the Texas Policy Project at the University of Texas, Austin, only 17% of Texans believe that cannabis should be illegal under all circumstances. This shift mirrors a national trend where the majority of Americans now reside in states with some form of legal cannabis. Now, despite these changing attitudes, Texas remains stringent in its cannabis laws, allowing jail time for personal possession and capping the THC percentage in medical cannabis at just 0.5%. This approach contrasts starkly with the broader national and local sentiments, highlighting a disconnect between public opinion and state policy. Now, the lawsuits also emerge amid growing tension between state Republican officials and Texas's larger Democratic-leaning cities like Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. Paxton, who faces his own legal challenges, including 2 counts of securities fraud with potential penalties of up to 99 years in prison, seems to be leading the charge in this escalating conflict between state and city authorities. Now, this lawsuit appears to be a lot more about clinging to prohibition and punishing Democratic-led cities than addressing any real dangers or needs of Texans. While Paxton and other prohibitionists often label cannabis as addictive, it seems the true addiction lies in the persistence of cannabis prohibition itself. This outdated approach has been used as a tool for incarceration and financial exploitation for too long. Paxton's claims that decriminalization of cannabis promotes the use of illicit drugs is completely out of touch with reality, where the majority of the country no longer views cannabis as an illicit drug, but more of a nutraceutical. The fight against decriminalization in Texas is not just a legal battle, it's a reflection of a broader struggle to overcome outdated beliefs and move toward a more rational and compassionate approach to cannabis policy. Ken Paxton needs to focus his time and state's dollars on real issues in Texas rather than wasting it chasing a non-existent boogeyman in cannabis, especially when the majority of Texans are leaning towards a more progressive stance on cannabis policy. As we observe these developments, it becomes increasingly clear that the real addiction we need to address is the one to prohibition, the stance that has cost far more than it's benefited. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9 News.
I would like to say the main thing from this that I got from being here in Texas is 2 sides to this. I definitely see, even though whoever wrote this article is a left-leaning nut, I definitely can see their point of view. But I also notice they're left-leaning nuts because they threw shade at the AG because of his own ongoing legal issues. You have to look at it for what it is. I love marijuana, but every state that has a track record of allowing marijuana, almost every state that has allowed marijuana to become recreational has seen a decline in morality. It first started with California, and now there's people who are defecating in the streets. And even though we know it's not a gateway drug, Democrats are using it as a gateway drug. And this is what conservatives are more concerned with. I don't believe that there is really a care about it being marijuana. I just think that there are people who are on the right that are more concerned with it being a gateway drug for Democrats to open up their areas to more illicit drug use, and then just destroy the actual cities in which this all started at. I mean, Stone lives in Austin. When I go to Austin, it seems like it's beautiful, but then I see so many homeless people there that it's ridiculous. It's kind of starting to look a little bit California-ish. So when you hear the phrase that Austin is surrounded by Texas, they're saying it because Austin is considered one of the dirtiest parts of Texas. And I'm not even trying to be funny or disrespectful to people who live in Austin, but I wouldn't want to live in Austin. There's more crime in Austin than maybe San Antonio and Dallas can compare, but I know in Houston there's nowhere near a comparison. There's just whatever liberals have control, they destroy it. So for the AG, I can understand why he would want to, but then I also understand the people like myself who do smoke marijuana, who are adults, who are like, you can go to any gas station, buy as much booze as you want, get in your car and drive drinking it. You know what I mean? Like, and there's no real way for someone to stop that. There's no regulation. No one is snapping your ID or scanning your ID, so now you can't get more booze for the rest of the day. You can just go to as many gas stations as you want and put as many people as you want in jeopardy when you get on the road and start driving. I think that there is a disconnect between Republicans and the actual people in which they serve. They tend to believe that it doesn't change, the culture doesn't change, and there is significant amount of restraint amongst Republicans to find themselves more adaptive to what is happening and actually have some form of control. Like, yeah, we're gonna allow marijuana to be legal, but these drugs now, if found, their penalty is even higher. You know what I mean? Like there isn't, I haven't seen anyone try to meet in the middle to give the people who are law-abiding citizens the ability to be adults, and whether they do it for recreational purposes or if it is for medical purposes. I have yet to see someone on the Republican side come to the straight middle and say, okay, we can give you this so as long as we have this. It's just been an open and ended no. And this is why Democrats are a little more enticing, especially with the youth who want to smoke, who want to have the ability to be adults and be responsible. This is the reason why the liberal policies are a little bit more enticing, because there's just no one trying to meet in the middle. This is my take on it. I could be wrong. Someone else
can I just say, because you chose to be so shining and sweet to Houston, and Houston historically had much higher crime than Austin. Just looking at the most recent data that came out from the FBI on this little score thing, 1 being low crime and 100 being high crime. Violent crime, Austin got a 24 to Houston's 50 on the national level of 22, and property crime 55 for Austin, 63 for Houston. Houston is a shithole in Texas that is just filthy with crime. And I'm sorry to the people that live in the nice parts of Houston. There are some nice parts.
Yeah, no, wait. I live in the wait. Time out. I got to rebuttal. I live in the Woodlands.
I'm tired of throwing these people in jail because that doesn't do anything for anybody. It costs the people money to keep them in jail. These people have mental health issues, and there need to be come up with programs to help these people get off the streets instead of just throwing them in jail like they used to. Yeah, it sucks having these people on the streets. It's not quite shitting on the sidewalk like you see in California, but it's pretty damn close. Something needs to be done, but throwing them in jail wasn't the answer either. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Well, right. Well, luckily enough, I live in the Woodlands, which is the safest city in America where there is no crime.
Very nice.
So,
very nice.
For me, it's different.
Yeah. We have a term in the legal world about this. It's called in loco parentis, in the place of your parents. And this attorney general thinks he's your dad and he can tell you what the fuck to do. And some of these cities are going, nah, we're not wasting our time anymore on somebody out there smoking a blunt around the corner. We got other things to do. And they're having a little shit hemorrhage because the kids are rebelling and telling us you can't tell us what to do anymore. And it's part of the problem with policymakers and law enforcement. They still want to be your dad telling you what to do, or I'm going to kick your ass. And their kids are going, Dad, you're full of shit. We're not going to follow you anymore. Now what you can do, because you can't whip us all. Mm-hmm. So that's Texas the battle inside law enforcement.
Texas officers live off of violating your rights. And the main way they can get into your car is to say, I smell marijuana. Mm-hmm. So this is the main catalyst,
Yeah,
and
they
this
don't
is
wanna lose
not
that.
just wherever you are in Texas. It's everywhere in Texas. They will use this as an excuse to try to get inside your vehicle in order to violate your Fourth Amendment right to not search it. And this is the main cause. Paxton is doing the dirty work of the law enforcement officers that all got into him because he's just doing it now. They have already been legal for how long now? They've already done this for how many years now? So this is all happening because there are people in his ear currently, and he is trying to have as much as he can done on his side to have favoritism. He's going through stuff on his own, which is absolutely correct. And clearly he doesn't give a shit if he's still going after the people and going after what the people want. It's not because it's even what he wants. I believe it's because this is what law enforcement is putting on him, and the pressure from law enforcement is being put on him because they're not able to go in these cars and start arresting people or start to violate people's rights to try to find other things because they can no longer use the pretextual "I smell marijuana" clause to violate you.
And so,
I thought Ken Paxton was more of a real estate guy, anyways.
oh God.
Well,
So
if he is, he should stay there.
Here's my whole thoughts on all this. Any Republican that's trying to restrict a person's choice of what they want to consume, I would say, needs to re-examine why they call themselves a Republican, and it should not
Facts.
include the word freedom. Okay, just
Why would
period.
anybody consider themselves a Republican these days, Jason?
Well, because it's better than the alternative.
It's better than being part of the pedophile brigade.
Then we have to Tony's point though, we do have he is speaking some truth to this, because when I talk with a lot of different Republican members, they all start off with one of the things that they are worried about is what they call the decay of humanity, so to say, or the decay of civilization. And they often do bring up two cities in particular. They bring up Denver, Colorado, and they bring up Oakland, California, and then they revert into San Francisco. And so all of these cities started off with those policies, with the progressive drug policies, where all of a sudden they legalize weed, and then they legalize mushrooms, and then, you know what I'm saying? So they do have they do have some legitimate reasons to say that, even though we all know that those aren't the reasons for the urban decay. It's bad, poor leadership, poor policies on a whole number of other issues. It's not because of the weed, but it does give them that talking point, and so that is something that people do need to think about when these types of conversations are going on, because that is a reality.
I mean, people are just love pointing at the symptoms and not the cause. That's the American way. So,
well, it's actually more like what doctors do, where they misdiagnose people to get you onto one thing when you really should be taking another, because there's no profitability in a cure, Rico.
Well, the Republican Party of today is not about cures. They're not about sound treatment. They're just about sound bites and calling out the symptoms of other people with ignoring their own faults.
I don't know about all that.
Here.
I don't know about all that, but I
agree,
will.
Rico. I agree. This is a uniparty. It's both sides, you guys. Listen, we can argue all day, left, right. These guys go to lunch together. All their kids go to school together. They call each other colleagues, and in public, they eviscerate each other for entertainment. And then as soon as the cameras is off, as soon as the doors close, they're colleagues, arms around the shoulder, dinner at each other's houses. It's total jokes. It's total BS. Good cop, bad cop. At the end of the day, you should just want to be a real American that's responsible and be a constitutionalist like myself.
And on that, we got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back.